Hello and welcome to the All About the Balls Sports podcast. And this is Ollie, and my very good friend Gareth is here with me too. Mate, how are you?
Mate, I'm very good. Slightly worried that
you are tired.
I'm tired.
Tired and emotional.
I'm tired and emotional, but I am more worried that all the technical equipment that I've got is going to malfunction at any moment. So, that you might lose me for a period of this podcast, which might improve it, might make it worse. I'm not sure.
It'd be quite depressing if the feedback is. I mean, I like the show. I like the more of a one-man show. It kind of Is Gareth long term in the show, or that's the feedback we get? Was he just a guest?
But otherwise, how are you? How was your week? You were away, weren't you? Which was good.
Well, I was off. I was off work, although actually I wasn't really off work. I as anyone who knows me, I'm a little bit addicted to work. I can't say no, which is why I've got a kid. So so it was good though. My girls were back from a week away. They were back from 6 weeks away, and I had a week off with them just at home. It was nice. Really, really nice. Really nice. Although it was interesting because I always thought, so they've been in Australia because the missus is Australian, so they went back to see family, and I thought the time difference between England and Australia was about 11 hours, depending upon, time of year and all that kind of stuff. Turns out it's actually about 9 years, because my daughter left as a 5-year-old and has come back as a fucking moody teenager. So
explicit lyrics.
Yeah. In exciting news, we've bypassed the single digits, and she's now an absolute nightmare.
Which I'm very excited that I'm going to be seeing this weekend now after that pitch. So.
Yeah, that's why I've invited you up, buddy, so you can do some daycare, because I'm out.
You are very kind.
Actually, you and I are out of it. I think we'll leave the kids with the.
Sounds like a great plan.
We'll just head to the local.
But speaking of moody teenagers, should we go football so I can have my rant about Man United and Brighton?
Let's start there. It's there's a lot to talk about. We're in the middle of lots of exciting things, and we are seeing the beginnings of what I can only describe as a season of misery for Man United.
Look, I don't think it's a season of misery. We are consistently average.
Consistently average. You know what you're going to get.
Hashtag consistently average.
Man United. Solskjaer. Hashtag consistently average.
I mean, we're not bad. We're just not good.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I
think that's the only way to describe it. We have moments that we look decent. There's moments of excitement. Mm-hmm. But actually, on the whole, you can watch 90 minutes and, not be better or worse off. You just sort of take the point and go to the next game and get the point. So
sounds like my sexual ability.
Yes. Daniel James, though,
yes,
that boy can finish, which is positive.
Yes.
He cannot cross the ball for love nor money.
No. True that.
So, I mean, at least he's not a winger, so that would be worrying if he was a winger that couldn't cross the ball. But if for any of our listeners, he is a winger, and he definitely can't cross the ball.
He can't cross the ball. He needs to just cut inside more and shoot.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, but I'd say I think there's some positives.
Really?
But no, not really.
I mean, so look, we spent a lot of time last season talking about the ups and downs and all that kind of stuff, and we talked about this idea of a rebuilding season for Man United, which is quite tough because Man United are such a big club with such high expectations at all times. I don't know if they can cope with the idea of a proper rebuild.
Well, I think we're going to have to get used to it. It's happening.
Yeah. So that then means if that's the theory that they are rebuilding, then like you say, you need to kind of reset expectations, but you do need to see improvement. You do need to see improvement across the next, definitely this season as a whole, but maybe by Christmas you need to see some improvements, because otherwise it's not rebuilding, it's just bad.
Well, I mean, that's the problem, isn't it? We've won 3 of the last 16.
Really?
I mean, we've drawn a lot in there, to be fair. I mean, I think we've lost 4 of the last 16. So, But, becoming 1-1 specialists. Problem is, you just, at any point, expect the other team to score. So 1-0 up, I never feel comfortable at all.
Yeah.
And I know most teams you could say that, but actually I just don't feel comfortable at all.
Yeah.
But it's just sloppy. It's just sloppy. We just give the ball away way too much.
Yeah.
And what's more depressing is Liverpool look like the champions this season. They really do. But then I watched the highlights of the Man City Brighton game.
That was brutal.
My second team, they ripped us to shreds. All 4 goals were absolute class. You can't really take anything away from them in terms of that. They just, look, I don't even think Brighton were terrible. City were just absolutely ruthless. And it just shows Liverpool and Man City are absolute miles ahead of everyone at the moment so far, 4 games in terms of quality, in terms of composure, in terms of everything.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a fair point. We can't get ahead of ourselves. It is only 4 games in. However, there's a couple of things. Both Man United and Tottenham are dropping points early in the season, and if you think, if you think back to the end of the last season and sort of think ahead, therefore, to the end of this season, the margins are very, very slim. If you're up there competing for the title, they're going to be very, very slim. Man United and Tottenham have already dropped 5 points, I think.
Seven.
7 points. Sorry. Yeah, 7 points. Sorry. Yeah. Let's just say that again. 7 points already that they've dropped. 7
of a possible 12.
Yeah. I mean, that's they cannot compete for the title dropping that many points. When you see how Liverpool and Man City are likely to go through the season, losing 1 game maximum kind of thing.
Well, as I've always said, you can't win the league in the first 3 months, but you certainly can lose it. And that's the way they're heading. Although I used to say that about Test cricket when I said you can't win a Test match in the first innings, but you definitely can lose it, which I thought England had done for a couple of weeks ago, getting 67 all out. So what, I mean, again, evidencing my lack of knowledge in any sport.
But mate, what we all admire though is your confidence to go with an opinion.
It's delivery. It's all about delivery.
Put your name out there. Really predict something. Don't sit on the fence.
I mean, delivery is 90% of the pitch, right? So that's not a cricket term. That's just me saying that's my sales pitch.
The sales bullshit. On
North London Derby, did you watch any of that?
North London Derby, do you know what? I missed it, but I watched the highlights. I think that the 2-2 draw is actually a win for Arsenal in that situation. Arsenal were 2-0 down come half time and walk away with a point. They salvaged a point. I know they were at home, but actually I think Arsenal will be happier with that than Spurs will. Spurs should not have lost that.
My favourite football pundit, Paul Merson.
Yes.
Probably the most biased pundit in the whole of England.
But just as Man United are consistently average, Merson is consistently biased.
Oh, yes. This is the episode of consistency.
Yeah, there's the title.
And he was apparently quoted as saying, is Emery, the Arsenal manager, Wenger in disguise? So even he's unimpressed with that performance. So I don't know. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I don't know.
I don't know because I don't know. But I think actually that's 3 points that Spurs have let slip. That was theirs for the taking. Absolutely theirs for the taking.
But your friend, our new addition to the Premier League this season, VAR, got a bit involved. Am I right in saying, I don't know if did you see the Aston Villa Crystal Palace game?
No, I mean I heard about it, but
they went to VAR for that, didn't they? For the dive, is that correct?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
So, I mean, for anyone who didn't see, Villa are 1-0 down against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Jack Grealish breaks into the box, skips past one, moves the ball beautifully around. Then he gets the old fresh air kick, goes down. The ball then rolls over to his teammate who slots it in the bottom corner, and it's called back by VAR for a dive, yellow carded for diving, and no goal. 0 points, back up to Birmingham. See you later.
So again, VAR grabbing the headlines when it really shouldn't. Good thing, bad thing. Was that a good thing that goal was overturned?
Sorry to all our Palace listeners, but I would rather Villa have got the point, being honest.
Yeah.
Was the right decision made? Probably. Is it getting... I mean, look, it's 4 games in. I think you've got to... you can't judge a VAR by its cover, is all I'm going to say. But I don't know. I'm still, I'm still pro it, but it is a bit... It seems to be rearing its head.
Yeah.
What do you think? I know you love it, so give us your opinion.
I hate VAR, but ironically, I hate diving more than I hate VAR. So actually, in this instance, I don't mind it being used to find.
Is it VAR or VAR?
Oh, hang on.
I don't know.
Oh.
I know nothing.
What do you say? Use it in a sentence.
Aston Villa were robbed a point due to VAR.
You see, that sounds more like a striker from Eastern Europe who's knocked one in at the far post.
That's what happened, and then he was denied by VAR.
Yeah. That's going to cause carnage when VAR was denied by VAR. I say VAR. I think I say VAR.
I think either our listeners need to tell us, or we'll just call it VAR.
Yeah, from now on, we'll put this to a poll. We'll put this to a poll. Not someone from Eastern Europe. We will put this out on Twitter as a survey.
The longer this podcast goes on, the less I back myself with any sporting conversation. So when we get our 5-year anniversary, I'll just sit here and just go, yep, you're right. Yep, that's right. Yeah.
Absolutely no opinion.
Danny Cipriani should be the coach of England. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Yeah. Solskjaer is the best manager in the world. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Just no opinion whatsoever.
But maybe my spirit will come back on that. I just need to get one right. Just one good innings. One good innings. I'm back in form.
You are very much
back in Nick.
Now that is a transition.
Thank you very much.
So speaking of that, because England, Australia in the 4th test at Old Trafford.
Yes.
Coming up is it Wednesday or Thursday they start?
Wednesday kickoff.
Fantastic. Wednesday bowl off. So 4th test, 1-1 in the series. England with the momentum, but Steve Smith is definitely, but Steve Smith is back, which is concerning.
True.
Very concerning. And the big change for England, well, two big things for England. Denley's opening and Roy's been moved to 4.
Which is what we spoke about last week.
Which is exactly what you predicted. I'm talking about giving you confidence and momentum, mate. Take that to the bank.
Thank you very much.
Denley's opening, Roy's moved to 4. I like that move. However, I'm still convinced that Root should be 4. I don't think Roy should be 3.
Yeah.
But I do think Root should be 4. I'm not happy with Root at 3.
Yes.
I don't think he is either, to be fair. So that, and then also the sad news and the big news, Jimmy Anderson has been ruled out for the whole series.
Which you predicted.
Which, I did say, if you check back in the archives, and any listener who still has that episode on their phone should A, ask themselves a few questions, but B, just double check. Hear me now, believe me later. I said Anderson will not play for England again. And sadly, the first part of that is all coming true. I think he played in Lancashire second 11, which must have been terrifying for the opposition. If you're a second 11 cricketer and there's England's greatest fast bowler charging in, trying to prove himself, Christ alive, on some dodgy track in Leeds or something like that. So Jimmy Anderson is out. His calf has not recovered enough, and they've not just even said we'll try and get him back for the 5th test at the Oval. He's out for the whole series.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Is he? Is he out?
No, he's out for the whole series. They've confirmed. Well, sorry, that's what the story was earlier. Well, late last week. He's gone for the whole series.
We've got Joe for Archer, but it's. Look, Jimmy, I think would have played a part. It does mean he can spend a bit more time on tailenders, so that's a positive.
It is a good thing. It is a good thing.
Speaking of tailenders, before we carry on, did you listen to the episode of just post that Test match win.
No.
They did an emergency podcast, and it was really good because just because of Jimmy Anderson's insights in the dressing room during the last full phase, but they were talking about Leachy and how he kept cleaning his glasses, and he even came off and said to his teammates, "Look, I appreciate I might have looked a bit like an idiot, but I would never forgive myself if I got out because there was a smudge on my glasses." So that's why he was cleaning them so vigorously through that whole.
So true. But yeah, they would. I did hear some of it. They were talking about all like the sort of the superstitions, weren't they? Like, when you're in the dressing room and things are going well, no one moves. You just, I think they're saying that Ruti, he got into a habit of standing up after every delivery and then sitting down, and he had to keep doing it for every single delivery.
Joe Denny spent majority of the day pacing next to the urinals in the toilet.
Yeah, how did he get there in there in the first place? Like, why was that his safe space?
Well, maybe something happened when he was in there and he thought, I can't come out. So it's funny. Cricket's very, very superstitious. Did you, when you were playing cricket, when you were growing up, did you have any superstitions?
Do you know what, mate? I was about to ask you exactly the same question. So I am quite superstitious. Not like as in, you can't walk under a ladder. I think that's just good health and safety. But like, I do have certain, when something goes well, if I have a good day, even now actually, if I have a good day at work, there are certain things I look at and go, right, repeat that pattern. And the pattern is normally not do my job well. The pattern is put my left sock on first, then my right sock. So when I was playing cricket, I always used to, cause I was a batsman, so I always used to put my pads on in the same order. I always had to put my gloves on in the same order and that same routine. When I was playing rugby, I had to fold my shirt. When I was packing my kit bag, I had to fold my shirt in a particular way and give it a kiss, give the crest a kiss as I was putting the bag.
No, you did not.
I absolutely did give the jersey a kiss going into the bag, and then give it a kiss as I took it out before I put it on.
And then there was tears afterwards. You used to cry into the crest. There's all kinds.
And this is back in the day.
Actually, I don't want to know what else you did with that crest.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else. What about you? You must have had a few, sure.
Yeah, I was very superstitious playing cricket, especially hockey too, but cricket really.
Yeah.
And like I would, especially as a schoolboy, I had to pack my bag the same way every time the night before. I had this weird superstition that I would never have throwdowns before I went out to bat, which for anyone who hasn't played cricket is just when a mate of yours just lobs balls on some uneven ground next to the field. That not match pace on not even ground, which is no simulation for anything really. But I just think I would never let anyone do that. I'd never have a throwdown, which probably in hindsight was bad, but
would you have a proper warm up? Would you have a proper warm up in the nets, or just no throwdowns?
Nothing.
Really, just let it all
straight
flow.
out. But I had this weird thing. I would always put my whites on my spikes, my box, and my thigh pad, but nothing else. As soon as we went into bat, no matter where I was batting in the batting order, if I was top 5, I'd sit in my whites, but not in my pads. And as soon as number 4 would go in, I would then stick my pads on.
Yeah.
I had this weird, but also quite badly, my last year of school, which is, I had this real habit of going out for beers on a Friday before we played on a Saturday. And I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but 2 of my best knocks in schoolboy history, I was absolutely hungover to anything. And it got to the point where my first team cricket coach used to ask me if I'd been for beers the night before. And if I hadn't, he looked slightly worried. So I don't know what that says about my ability, about the school I was at, or all of the above, but it's always, when your school teacher's going, you were out drinking last night, weren't you? So that he always
I hope you were out drinking last night.
He seemed more relaxed when I had been going for drinks, so that was good. So,
where he starts saying to you on a Friday lunchtime, do you want to go out for a few beers tonight, Gareth? Which is a whole new relationship.
Hockey and cricket-wise, last one before we move on, but weird. I would never warm up in the shirt I was going to play in, and I would only put the shirt on that I was going to play in literally 10 seconds before. So when everyone was getting ready to start, I'd run off and put my shirt on and run back on.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It's just in my head. It was actually just for the match. That was it.
It's funny, these little things. I remember, actually, now we're talking about it, I remember once, so when I was playing, when I was in my second to last year at school, playing first 15, and the guys in the year above, they were really good. We had a really good side, basically, because of them. And so we were kind of expected to win almost every match. And we had this habit of conceding points immediately after we scored, and it was so annoying because we were like a really good side, but we always concede. We just switched off, and so I got into this habit of, I think in the second game, as we came back from scoring a try, I shouted outright, "No switching off! No switching off! Next 2 minutes! Next 2 minutes!"
Yes, the old classic.
And in
the old
first
classic.
game, in that first time I did it, it worked. We didn't concede any points, and we scored the next try, kind of thing. And so then in my head, like, I have to say that every single time. That is the only thing that is meaning we are not conceding points. Nothing to do with everyone else tackling the guy with the ball. It was all down to me saying those 4 sentences.
Look, mate, it all plays an integral part in that.
Absolutely does, mate. Absolutely does.
But so before we move on, obviously, Denley to open, Roy to bat for, score his first 100 in Test cricket.
Yes.
Archer to get
Steve Smith's.
Well, and Steve Smith's come out with a bit of chat, basically. Yeah.
Cheeky chappy. What's he saying?
Yes, he's come out, I think, and said, well, Archer still hasn't got me out.
Which is a fair point.
It is, but, I mean, he also made him see 3 balls, so I don't... It's all relative. I'd rather have got my bails knocked over than my head knocked off, to be fair.
I can't remember my own name, but he hasn't got me out.
Yeah.
I don't recognise my children, but I'm
exactly.
still in.
Yeah. But I'm the real winner here.
Yeah. What year-long ban?
Yeah, exactly. I would never cheat in cricket. Yes, he's lost. He's forgotten that whole year. But so he's had a bit of fighting talk, but I think it's going to be a really, really good match. I think it's going to be a quality test.
I'm looking forward to this one. I mean, okay, so again, we've said this before, but we've got tickets to the Ashes, the 5th Ashes test at the Oval on the Friday, of that final test. So what do we want? We obviously want an England victory at Old Trafford because we'd love to go into the Oval 2-1 up. We definitely don't want an Australian victory, otherwise the Ashes are lost. So do we want the draw and then glory at the Oval? I guess no, we want the win really at Old Trafford, don't we?
Yeah, well, we'll take the win and go there with the Ashes having to chase a game.
Yes, and
then we'll just slowly pick them off one by one.
Yes. That sounds like Zulu.
So, yes, exactly. Oh yeah, I like it. So. Predictions for the test match.
Yeah, okay. Predictions for the test match. And I've got a question for you about the 100 competition. Test match. England win. England win. I'm going to go irony. Roy to top score.
Oh boy.
Best bowler, I think, will be. I actually think the best bowler is going to. Is Stark back in? Has Mitchell Stark been selected?
He's in the squad, Who knows?
I think Stark is going to have it. I think if Stark plays, he's going to be best bowler.
Okay.
So England, Rory, Stark.
Okay, I'm going England. You going Rory Burns or Jason Roy? Rory Burns.
No, I'm going Jason Roy.
Oh, sorry.
I think Roy's, irony of irony. I think he's going to.
I think Joe Root's going to top score.
Oh, would love it.
I'd love a ton from Root in the Ashes. I'm going to go England, Root. England, Roots, Lions. No, I'm joking.
It's a brutal.
England, Root. I've got to think who's going to have. I think Archer's going to bowl well again. I think it's going to be a bit overcast. I think he's going to be lively.
Yes.
So
that would be lovely.
So I'm going to go that.
Okay, there we go. So look, before moving on to the rugby, because I wanted to have a chat with you about some of the rugby. But
yes.
Have you seen the latest news on the 100 competition? So that each team from the 100 will be able to select at least one England Test player.
Now, with all... right.
No, go on.
No, that's great, and I'm very happy.
However...
But, like, that's like going every 4x100 meter relay team gets one international marathon runner.
I know. I mean, like, if they
said... Sure, why didn't you go, you get one England one-day World Cup winner?
ODI, I mean, especially considering they've just won the World Cup, from a promotional point of view, that would have made really good sense.
Every test player.
From a game format point of view, that would have made loads of sense. It would have made more sense if they went for a T20 player, because it's, in terms of the format, it's closest to T20. The test player, I mean, with all due respect, I'm not entirely sure I want to see Joe Denley walking out for my 100 team.
Well, I never mind Joe Denley. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but I don't really want Leach in my 100 game. I mean, he's a very good, player, but he's not. I don't know. It's a weird pitch. That it was a weird.
It is a weird angle to it. It really is a weird angle to it.
But the coaching, I tell you what would be better to watch than the 100 competition. All the coaches of the 100 teams playing in the 100 competition.
Yes.
There's quality people in the coaching staff on the teams is quality.
Yes.
So Shane Warne's there, I think all of them. So let's get coaches versus players like you do at high school level and do that.
That'd be amazing. Did you see the story about Warney this week? About his sexual escapades?
No.
So apparently, I don't know, like a week, 2 weeks ago, something like that, during the hot weather in London, he was, his girlfriend or partner, I don't know, was photographed coming back to his place with two prostitutes. And apparently these are known, I mean, maybe if the actual polite name is escorts, but they are known. It wasn't just like two ladies who people think are whores. Like, these are known escorts. Being brought back, and then a couple of hours later is being escorted off and driven home or something like, or jumping in cars. And apparently, because it was a hot night, the windows were open in Warney's London palace, and the neighbours heard what a good time he was having. There's a lot of bowling Warney coming out of the
yes.
windows. So then Warney was on Twitter saying something like, "Really looking forward to the fourth match. Can't wait. Should be a belter." And he's just got destroyed, going, "Yep. Here you love a foursome."
Yeah. Absolutely.
Top shagger.
Oh, he is top shagger.
One of them was quite brutal. Went, "Love you, Warney, but maybe a little bit less exploitation of the sex workers." Christ. I think that was the UN who measures that. But yeah.
Well, exactly.
But that was pure class from Warney.
Quality.
Class.
So we're going to wrap up with, you've got a little bit of rugby knowledge as the World Cup rugby is on countdown. I think we're down to, I think it's 18 days till the World Cup.
We are very close, and we need to do a proper episode. Maybe post Ashes, we'll squeeze one in, so to speak.
We got
focus one.
The post Ashes, and then we lead straight into the World Cup pretty much. So we'll do it then.
So it's seamless. It's seamless.
Shoot.
But so I've just been writing a little bit of an article about some of the best World Cup players, but players rated purely on their World Cup performance, and not nothing else they've done in the game, not how many Six Nations they've won or rugby championships, anything like that. Purely what they've done in the World Cup. Okay. And there's some really interesting names that come out of it when you put just that focus on it. And one of them in particular, can you, who of yours come to mind? Because I've got two that I've just been writing about, that I think are really, really interesting.
What, England players?
World players. Anywhere in the world.
Brian Habana.
Sure, legend.
And Wilco for me.
I mean, look, without a doubt, mate, without a doubt. Here's two for you that I will hopefully get you and the listeners at home thinking. One, Mr. Oz Durant.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Now, there are only 20 players who have ever won 2 World Cups. 14 of those are from the Kiwi sides of 2011 and 2015.
Sure.
14. So 5 of them are Aussies from the, I think it's 91 and 99.
Yes, sure.
So 8 years apart there. Oz Durant is the only South African to win 2 World Cups, and he won his 12 years apart, 95 then played in 99. Was it 99? I think he played in.
Yes.
And then won in 2007.
Mate, fantastic. And
he
what
actually retired in between, got injured and retired, and then came back. And there's an amazing story that apparently he came back into the squad and he was like, I don't belong here. I'm too old. I don't belong here. This is ridiculous. And they're having a team talk, I think, ahead of one training session or something like that. And old Bakkies Botha said in front of the whole team, the whole squad, how honoured he felt to be playing with the legend that is Os Durant. And that immediately made him feel like he belongs. Went on, won man of the match in the semi-final against the Pumas, and then played all 80 minutes in the final against England.
Oh, mate, it's
unbelievable.
A great story and excellent little insight there. Thank you.
One more for you.
One more.
This is emotional. Dusatois, the Frenchman.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute. So I think he is arguably responsible for two of the greatest individual performances in World Cups. One in was it 90? Hang on. 2007, maybe? Yeah, it might be 2007, when the French beat the Kiwis. Go with it.
Sorry.
When the French beat the Kiwis.
That was 2007 quarterfinal, correct.
He made 38 tackles in that game on his own. 38 tackles.
Absolute beast.
And scored the try that got them back level, I think, with the Kiwis. Then 2011 in the final, when actually the French lost to the Kiwis and the Kiwis won their home tournament. He was captain. He was man of the match. He scored France's only try. He was everywhere. And I don't know if you remember, he led the French V formation as they advanced on the haka when the Kiwis were doing the haka. Mate, watch. I tweeted this a couple of days ago. Watch that back on YouTube. Oh, shivers.
Oh, I'm gonna have a look at that.
Unbelievable.
I'm gonna have a look at that.
So this is basically me wanting to share some lovely memories, but also a big shout out. What are your favourite Rugby World Cup moments?
Oh yes, I like it.
What are your favourite?
Anyone who's still listening, get in touch. Let us know.
So yeah, mate, that's all I've got for you, really. I mean, there's loads of other rugby stories, but we'll do more of a focus on that in a couple of weeks.
Yes, I think we should. We've got a couple of ideas for the rugby stuff, but any ideas you want us to talk about? Obviously, we're going to wrap up the summer of cricket love in the next 2 weeks. Sadly, it's all going to be over for the summer, but I hope England go well this weekend. Actually, speaking of England going well, my last little thing prediction: England, Bulgaria, Euro qualifier, Wembley Stadium.
Ooh.
England, Bulgaria, go
3-0. England.
Oh, I like it.
England 3-0.
I like it. 4-0 to me.
Oh, mate, that is confidence and
goals.
Immediately means it's going to be
goals.
1-all.
Yeah.
0-0. Shit.
To be fair, we've got a lot of United players, so it could be a win. It could be a 1-1. We've got Harry Maguire, we've got Rashford, we've got Lingard, so it's without.
At least England didn't have to pay for Maguire.
It could have, it's not their money. It's not their money. So, but yeah, thanks very much, mate. An absolute pleasure again, as always.
Yeah.
I hope you have an excellent week, and we will catch up post Ashes.
Test
4.
Emotional times. Hold tight. It's going to be a good one.
Yes.
Cheers.
Go well.